Welcome to the Empowered Podcast with Deanna Merlino, an all-encompassing personal development show where I will be sharing with you just how to transform yourself into the best version of you, both inside and out. From wellness, entrepreneurship, spirituality, and manifestation, I'll be showing you exactly how to live your best life. I will be keeping it as real and raw as it gets. So get ready to peel back the layers and really transform yourself under the surface, because nothing is better than finding your purpose and living this life as your true, authentic self. So I have a really fun addition to utilize as a source that I would love for you guys to do at the start of your day, every single day, to just keep you on track, help you with your goals, really get you into a positive mindset every single morning, because what we do in the morning is how we are going to shape our entire day. I have this fancy little sheet that I'm calling Day by Design, and it's an editable PDF that you're going to be able to fill out even as your day goes on if you need to. Some of it is meant to be for you to do as your day goes on. And some of the things that are in there are going to be the mood that you're feeling for the day, tracking your exercise, your water intake, and your meals. You're going to write what you're grateful for, your schedule, your goals, your get-to-do list, because I don't like to say to-do list or have to do, a money tracker, and just keeping everything in one place for what you need to do today, tomorrow, and for all the days so that you can make sure that you stay on track and have the best day that you can. So in order for you guys to get this, I'm going to have you go to my website, which is www.deannamerlinofit.com. And you're going to get asked to sign up for a newsletter that you will then get this in exchange for free. So super easy. You don't have to do anything but sign up. And after that, you'll get a quick little welcome letter. And then once a month, I will send out a newsletter that is going to keep you guys up to date with me, so you can just get to see the ins and outs of what's going on in the life of Deanna Merlino and the Empowered Podcast. Can't wait for you guys to utilize this, and just can't wait to see you guys sharing it on social media as well, hitting your goals, helping others do it as well. Please take advantage of this. It will definitely be fun for everyone involved. Hello again, my Empowered fam. Excited to be here with you today. I don't think I'll get emotional, but maybe I will. I don't really have a layout for today. I'm just going to kind of talk about some things that have been going on with me and my health, and turn it into a moment for you guys to make sure you're taking care of yourselves too. We talk so much about, rewiring our brain and spirituality. And I am a very big person, or very big, reminder always to work out and eat healthy. But I also am terrible at taking the time out to actually make doctor's appointments for myself. So recently let me backtrack. So in that episode that I had with Kaylee, we talked about how I did a mediumship reading for her and some of her students. And after that, one message that kept coming to me after, because I kind of feel like the channel was still open, is, well, first of all, my late grandpa was yelling at me and telling me that I am not listening to my dad, who's been giving me messages that I need to slow down and that I have too much on my plate. And my grandpa, who has never come through before, was like, "You are not listening. You have already made yourself and everyone proud. You need to slow down." And I kept getting messages, and I just kept hearing, you need to get your heart checked. And I took that pretty seriously because of the fact that my dad passed from a heart-related issue. And the more deep diving that I've been doing, I have found that heart-related deaths are really prevalent on my dad's side of the family. His dad passed really young of a stroke that led to a heart attack, and then his grandparents both passed from heart-related incidents. So I knew that I had to take that very seriously. And I think because I've always been so healthy and I take really good care of myself, I just thought I don't need to worry about those things because I eat healthy, I work out, so I won't have to deal with that stuff. And that's just not true. I mean, there's a genetic, there's genetic things going on. And actually recently, I'm not going to name her. I do know that she listens to this podcast, but one of my cousins had a heart related incident before where she actually passed away and then came back. She was super young and she had to get, I want to say it was a pacemaker put in, and it keeps her heart in check. And she actually found out that this was due to a very specific gene that she was carrying. And she mentioned that to me and let me know that I should probably go get checked for that, especially being, what just happened with my dad. So I decided that I wanted to go get a checkup very thoroughly. I've had heart palpitations for a very long time. I've had them checked on multiple times. They were not worried about them. They said they were benign. There was nothing to worry about. I do think my mom told me I had a hole in my heart when I was little, but that seemed to go away. I think that's semi-common. And then my heart palpitations got really bad when I was pregnant and got that checked out, wanted to be safe, obviously. And they said, no worries. This is common during pregnancy. Again, nothing to worry about. So I made an appointment with my cardiologist and I said, I want to get every thorough genetic testing done that I possibly can, just because I want to be safe. And I could tell at first they were kind of like, it's kind of silly. You're healthy, you're a personal trainer, you eat well, you're young, you just had, like an EKG and like heart testing done prior and everything was fine. But something in me just kept saying, stay persistent, make sure you're really thorough. And I decided to really stand up for myself. And that's another reminder too, guys, is you know your body best. Your body is always sending you messages. So if you think something is off, something is likely off. So even though you may go to doctors and they don't know what's going on, keep going. Go to someone else. Someone eventually it's going to click for. There's going to be some test that you do and something is going to make sense. So she, realized that I was really serious about it and was like, okay, we're going to, treat this as if it is super, high up in urgency. We're going to get you all the testing done. And I want to say, I don't know, not even a week later, probably, I had the scariest moment of my life. Honestly, I have to be wholehearted and candid here. I thought I was going to die. I woke up in the middle of the night and I always have nightmares. I tend to have nightmares quite frequently. I have for a very long time. So it wasn't anything out of the norm. I woke up and, like when your alarm goes off or, something startles you, you wake up and your heart's kind of racing for a second, but then like a normal heart, it gets back on track and you're good to go. Well, all of a sudden my heart just took off and it kept going faster and faster and faster and harder and harder. And it was beating so hard and so fast. It was almost like I could actually feel it physically in my throat and I could hear it in my ears. I couldn't breathe. My chest was tightening up. I couldn't get a good breath and it still just kept speeding up and speeding up. And I started to get really scared because I know my dad had atrial fibrillation. And I remember that he mentioned essentially, this is exactly how he explained it. And while I still don't know if that's what I have per se, I do know that with atrial fibrillation, a healthy heart should be able to get back on track when like that fight or flight response kicks in and when something's going on, those electrical impulses get off track and your heart takes off. And someone who is left untreated or they're unhealthy or they have other health issues going on, it can lead to a stroke or a heart attack. Your heart will literally just beat until it gives out. And in that moment, that is what I thought was happening. I had listened to a meditation that night before I went to sleep. So my phone was right next to my head. My husband was working. And I called him and I said, call 911 now. I think I'm having a heart attack. And of course he's like, what? And I was like, I'm not joking. Send an ambulance right now. And there were so many thoughts rushing through my head, obviously. And just a little bit of, my inner voice was saying, you need to calm down. So I started meditating to try and at least I was starting to have a panic attack because I'm like, I'm dying. This is terrifying. I have a son, my husband, my family, my mom just went through this loss. Like all the things are racing through my head. And I started just meditating. I knew I needed to calm my heart down, calm my breath down. Panicking was only going to make it worse. Anyone who's experienced a panic attack knows how scary that is and how it just sends you spiraling. And thankfully he wasn't far away. So he got home really fast. And all of a sudden, out of nowhere, just like a snap of the fingers, I felt my heart. It was almost like a switch went on and it was just beating like normal again. And I immediately felt my heart just going back to normal. It was slowing down and I'm like, okay, I feel like I can move now. I was literally too afraid to move because I knew that would speed up my heart rate more. And I genuinely thought my heart was about to fail. So I reached over and grabbed my Apple Watch, and my heart rate was through the moon. And all I kept thinking was, it's already slowed down so much. Like, how high did it actually go during that episode? And needless to say, it was terrifying. By the time the ambulance got here, they ran tests. My heart rate was already back to 60 beats per minute. So there wasn't really anything going on, which again, with atrial fibrillation, unless they catch you in an episode, which tends to be short-lived, unless again, there's, background stuff going on. Unless you're in an active episode, they're not going to be able to diagnose it. My dad went undiagnosed for years and kept having blood clots and all these other things going on until they caught him in an episode. It had gotten so advanced that they were able to find it. And so they gave me an EKG. There happened to be someone who was able to do that. And they said, everything looks okay, other than your blood pressure is really high, which again wasn't too concerning because being in such a terrifying scenario, they did say that, that's pretty normal. So I'm like, okay. And it was, I don't know, overnight Saturday, going into Sunday morning, it was like 3 a.m. So they essentially said, like, there's not going to be a specialist at the hospital. They're not going to run any tests that they're going to find anything other than they're going to send you to a heart specialist, which again, I had already done these tests and already was waiting results. So they said, unless anything happens again, or unless, you really feel you need to go in, then just let us know if something comes up. And so me and my husband decided that I would just wait and see what happens. I mean, I felt perfectly normal. I had a terrible headache, probably from my high blood pressure. And I was just like sick to my stomach. But everything seemed okay. So I'm still in the waiting stages. I was going to wait to tell you guys what comes up from that. But there was a couple things that I wanted to tie into some of my episodes. So I decided to talk about it anyhow. But I really just want to encourage you guys. I know how busy we get. I know we have a lot on our plates. I know, some people are just afraid to go to the doctors because they're afraid to hear bad news. But I'm here to gently tell you that it would be better to find something out ahead of time than when it's too late and you can't do anything preventative to help it. Like at this point, if anything is wrong, or if I find out that I have that genetic issue that my cousin has, it's called long QT syndrome. I don't know a ton about it, but I would be put on beta blockers, and I might have high blood pressure now because I'd never had it before. But when I was in labor, I had high blood pressure. And the more I think about it, I've been having those headaches a lot more frequently. And I'm wondering if I've had a blood pressure issue going on. Again, it doesn't always have to do with your nutrition and exercising. I'm a very healthy person. I'm very mindful of what I put in and on my body. But I think that there's some genetic things going on that is completely out of my control. Just, be your own advocate. Go get your health checked up. It takes time. It might be scary. You're busy, but it's worth it. In that moment when that was happening, and I, in my head, was like, you are going to die. All I kept thinking about was I didn't want to go alone. Like, I remember I kept thinking my husband needs to hurry and get home because I don't want this to happen alone. And the more I thought about that, it's kind of like a two-way street. I've always had a deep fear of death. I'm part of me is wondering if all of this is coming up, and we've been talking about that a lot. I just had that episode with Kaylee, and even the last one, I brought up, the death of some parts of us for the betterment of ourselves. And like Kaylee said, it's inevitable. It's coming for all of us. So I really took some inventory on my life. kind of sat back and just looked at what changes need to be made. How do I want to be living my life? What is important to me, which at the end of the day is always my family. There is nothing that I do that is not for either the betterment of my family or our future or spending time with my family. My son and my husband and my mother and my in-laws and all my family, my friends, everyone means so much to me. And that's what's important. If there's anything that I've learned out of this is that I had already been starting to slow down, so that was great, but it was just a really good reminder, even more, to find work-life balance and spend more time with my family, because without them, what's it all for? What is anything that I'm doing for? So I'm bringing all of these things to you guys today for that exact reason. I want you to slow down and take inventory in your life and find out where changes need to be made. And I also realized some good things. Like a lot of times, I've mentioned several times, like on your deathbed, are you going to have regrets? I had no regrets. That did not cross my mind. My family was the only thing that did. So on a positive note, that tells me that I'm doing all the things that my soul wants me to. I'm doing all the things that I desire. I'm chasing all the dreams. I'm trying to build all the things, but there's still always room for improvement, and that means finding a way to do it all while slowing down. So right now, when you hear this episode, take a moment, quiet your mind, get in a nice quiet place, get comfy, and think about all the things you love in your life, all of the things you're grateful for, and your whys, why you do all of the things, why you work that job, why you started that business, why you bust your butt all the time. And then really look at what it is that you need to do. What changes do you need to make? And make whatever, appointments you need to make. I literally made like a doctor's appointment. I wanted a blood workup. I went to that cardiologist. I made a dentist appointment. Oh, funny story. We'll wrap up, a more serious episode with this. I had to go get my knuckle looked at because about 3 months ago, again, case in point, I take way too long to take care of things. I was having a training event at my house for my network marketing team, and I was opening a can of salsa. And I heard a giant pop, and it was not the salsa, and it was my finger, and it hurt really bad. And after that, my knuckle just kept like sliding out of place from left to right, like side to side, anytime I opened something. So I finally went to get it checked out, and turns out that I tore a ligament in my knuckle. Real fun. So you can't see it, but it's wrapped up. And again, it was a good reminder to me, like make sure you take time to take care of your body when you need to, as soon as it sends you a message. Because reminder again, guys, we have one body to live in for the rest of our lives. So on that note, I love you all. I'm so grateful for you all. Each and every one of you means so much to me. Growing together is one of my favorite things. And if you could, in that notion, please take a moment, write a review, give me a 5-star rating if you haven't, subscribe, tag someone, share an episode, your favorite episode. Maybe it's this one. I love when you guys do that. I love seeing it, and I'm so grateful for it. And it always helps me to grow and help others as well. So I love you all. Have the best day and the best week, and we'll see you soon. Thank you guys so much for listening to today's episode. If you want to find out more, you can follow me on Instagram at Empowered with Deanna and my personal page, Fit Deanna Lolita. You can also visit me on my website, which is deannamerlinofit.com. Make sure that whatever platform you guys are listening on, please rate and subscribe. And this means so much to me. It's going to help get me out there to help so many other people. I'm so grateful that you're here with me on this journey of wellness and self-empowerment. I cannot promise that it will always be easy, but I do know that it will always be worth it. Stick with me, and together, let's start living as the version of us that we were meant to be. Because the world is waiting for your gifts, and you deserve to live the life of your wildest dreams and beyond. So friends, let's get empowered.